One button to rule them all. Well, in fact, one button to do multiple different things with you hands-free. How awesome does that sound? Your production, whether it's a video production, live stream production, Zoom presentation, any of the things, you are going to be able to actually deliver better presentations, better streams, and have less production headaches. So that is what the Stream Deck multi-action ideas are for you today. I've got 3 different scenarios I'm going to go through with you and show you how to set them up. But keep in mind that the limits are up to your imagination. So whatever you want to do with the multi-actions, to an extent, you should be able to do so. And I think that you're going to love this. I would encourage you to just allow your mind today to run free because I'm going to show you 3 different scenarios, but you might be able to come up with some additional things. Thank you so much, CK, for the super chat today for Abby. You're gonna see Abby the Chihuahua here soon, but I actually want to show you how to actually do all of this. First and foremost, what is a Stream Deck? Exactly. Well, the Stream Deck is a physical device. You can see how it sits on my desk. It's propped up. And this device actually allows me to set different buttons to accomplish different things in my production. Now, this is my favorite piece of gear in my entire studio because it makes it super simple to actually produce a high quality professional video live stream or Zoom presentation at the touch of buttons. And the ability to be able to have tactical feedback without actually looking down. Like, I know which buttons these are kind of in the corners, right? I can feel the buttons and I'm like, okay, I know which button that is. Program your mind so that you don't have to constantly be looking down and up. And this is a really, really powerful tool. Now, it doesn't do anything in and of itself exactly. It connects to other software. For example, ECAMM Live is what you're seeing most of these buttons connected to. So I set up my production in ECAMM Live, and then I connect the Stream Deck to that to tell it what to do. Zoom, same thing. It can connect to Zoom functions so that you can control your Zoom experience through your Stream Deck. So you'll notice that there are these fancy icons, you know, the dance, we have dance breaks sometimes, right? Or we dance the show out. We have the Abby Cam, things like that, right? And so we have these different icons. You'll notice those. We actually just updated the icon pack in our store, in the Live Streaming Pro store, with 175 new of these new icons. 175 new icons, meaning you've got 175 new icons plus 7 colors that you can choose from. That means you have 1,225 icons to choose from. So you can find that, link is in the description. Lynn apparently likes the purple. I've got all the different colors. We can talk about that later, but let's get down to business in terms of multi-action functionality. What is multi-action? Purely, it means that you are clicking a single button, like this button right here. We're going to click this button and actually make a series of events occur with just a single click. Okay, so the idea, you'll start to see how this all plays out. But I want to actually kind of show you what this looks like, and then I'll show you actually how to set it up, right? So for reference sake, hold on. I got to get my windows in order here. Okay, for reference sake, this is the Stream Deck software, and this is what you're going to use to control or set up your Stream Deck, the physical device. So in this multi-action, basically what I've done is I've actually set it up to, this is a shutdown routine, okay? So like if I'm gonna end my stream, what I've done here is I've done a whole series of events that will end the stream, bring me back, and do everything I need so that I don't have to think about it. So I've muted my mic. I've played a video. So maybe you run an ending video, a credits video like we do on Fridays. Then I'll explain the delay here shortly. Then you end the stream, and then you're unmuting your mic because it's already muted, and then you're actually bringing it back into the scene that you want. Maybe you have a guest on, and you're going to actually come back so that you can talk to them at the end. This multi-action actually is all about camera switching. So very, very easily, let me actually show this to you in real mode. So I'm actually going to play the camera switching functionality. So this is, I'm going to hit this one button between this other camera, Abby the Chihuahuas, and my hands, just switching cameras. And you could add some music in here, you could do whatever you wanted, but it's going through a series of cycling through different cameras. Let's say you have 6 different cameras. One of our students does this for musical performances, cycling between the different instrument cameras and allowing the audience to have a much more dynamic view. So this is this is a Zoom setup. Or not Zoom setup. We can do a Zoom setup where you mute and unmute, you turn your camera on and off, things like that, all through Zoom. But this one is, maybe you're starting a presentation, right? So you do presentations in Zoom often, and you have a startup sequence. Maybe you have to open a couple of different websites. Maybe you have to open your Keynote and Zoom apps. And if you have these series of things that you just always do in setting up or tearing down a process, like a presentation, then you're going to be able to set that up with the multi-action functionality. Okay, so now let me actually show you how to accomplish this. So we're gonna actually, you've seen what is possible. Now we're actually going to build one out. So all you do is in the software here, you're going to look for the multi-action button right here. And so I'm gonna just drag and drop right here. Now we come to a window where we build out the functionality that we want to happen in sequence. And by the way, if you guys have tips on which things that you use multi-action for, I would love for you to type tip in the comments and share that with the rest of the community. And Callie, I would love for you to gather those for me as well as questions. Okay, so we're going to start building this out. And let's build out the camera switcher. So essentially what we're gonna do is run scene. So again, this is built on the functionality of, in this case, ECAMM Live. And by the way, you can do this with X keys, you can do this with other devices and software as well. Okay, so ECAMM Live, we're gonna run scene. So we're already, you play out the scenario in your head. I'm already gonna be on my main camera, so I don't want to start on my main camera. So we're going to actually choose run scene and choose the scene that we want to go to, which was the BTS camera, my behind the scenes camera. That's the Abby cam. Then I'm going to come up here and choose a delay, because we want to delay the amount of time. We don't want it to go boom, 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 right? We want to delay the amount of time in between each camera switch. And so then what you're doing is delaying by milliseconds. Now, here's where it gets tricky. 1 second is 1,000 milliseconds. So if you leave it at 1,000 milliseconds, that's going to be a 1 second delay. You want a little bit more than that. So let's say you want, for this purposes, I'm doing like 3 seconds, AKA 3,000 milliseconds. And if you are like me and you hate doing math, then you can just Google X number of seconds, whatever you're wanting. If you're wanting 19 seconds or 19.25 seconds, then you can actually Google that X number of seconds, 2 milliseconds, and it'll give you a calculator. Because sometimes if you're doing something funky, and I'll show you when this occurs, you might need that. Okay, so then we're going to run scene. This is a really simple setup, right? And then we're going to choose the host scene because that's this camera right here. Then we're going to do delay. Then we're going to run scene. Okay, and so you're gonna do this and you choose the scene again, go back to BTS, right? So set the delay. So we've got run scene behind the scenes, ABCAM, delay for 3 seconds, run scene, me, my camera, delay for 3 seconds, go back to Abby, and now we need to come back to me to end this. So we'll do another delay. And we'll do another run scene. So set the delay. I usually tend to like drag everything in the order and then set the details, but you can set the details as you go, total personal preference there. And then coming back to the host. So there, I've set my scene up, and now we're going to come back up here and we're actually going to set the icon for this. You'll notice I have these different icons. This is the native functionality. But if you have different multi-actions, you might want to just separate them by colors and use the multi-action option. So let's go pink on this one. We're going to choose multi-action. This is again from the Live Streaming Pros Stream Deck icon pack. That you can get at the store. So there you go. You know by color which multi-action that is. Or you could do like I did here. This is the presentation prep idea, right? But this one, because I think of the computer as like my presentation, or you could choose any number of the icons to identify what this multi-action is all about. So you could choose whatever icon you want. And we're going to be looking at my next option, which is this one. Now, this is a little bit more of a complicated one. Again, what we're going to do here is actually build it out so that we're finalizing our video. It's the shutdown sequence. So in this idea, what we've got is an interview, and we want to come back to the guest after the stream has ended. So this scenario, we're actually going to play a video, we're going to end the stream, we're going to mute and unmute in that process, and once the video is, or once the stream is ended, we're going to come back to our interview side by side so that we can have that final conversation, thank our guest, and then we can hang up with them. So if we're in here, we're going to grab the multi-action, boom, drop it down, and we're going to set the icon here. And this one, we're going to choose a different color. We're going to go for red, and multi-action. I'm just going to choose these, but again, you can choose any icon that visually tells you what this does. And there are, 1,225 that you can choose from. Okay, so now here's the thing. The muting, unmuting isn't absolutely necessary if you set that on the ECAMM side of things, right? So you can set the scene with a mute and unmute. However, for good measure, just to make sure everything is playing the way you want, then you're going to drag this mute option here. So we're muting ourselves. And this function actually serves as a mute unmute. So if it's in mute mode, then the next time it's brought up is going to unmute. If it's unmuted, it's going to mute. If it's muted, then it's going to unmute. Okay, so that's how this functionality works. And then we're going to play a video. Now, you can either run a scene or you can play a video. So in my scenario, I would want to run the credits themselves, right? So I want to end the stream, run the credit, or I want to run the credits and then end the stream. And then, so what we're going to do is choose the scene that you want to run. For me, I'm going to choose the credits, right? In this scenario though, my credits are really long. So what I'm gonna do instead is cheat, but you could do this either way. You're gonna delete, I'm gonna delete that, and I'm gonna actually play a video that's local on my machine. Now we wanna end the credits. We wanna run the scene that has the credits on it. And we're going to go to credits, okay? Now, my credits are really long. There's something like, I don't remember how long, but it's minutes worth. So what we want to do instead of just running the scene and then moving on is we need to tell Stream Deck to delay the same amount that the video is in this scene. So if you're gonna do, there are two ways to do this. You could do the run scene here, and then we're going to delay, and then we're going to choose the amount of time that that video is going to run. So for me, it was like 19,000 milliseconds is what that video was. And then we're going to end the stream. So you're going to choose the go live. And that, if you are live, is going to again function as an end stream function, okay? And then we're going to unmute ourselves because the live stream is ended. Now we're going to find the mute, come back here. We're going to unmute ourselves. And then we're also going to go to the run scene. And we're going to come to the interview side by side so that we can then talk to our guests, thank them, and say goodbye. So that's how you build this out. It's very, very simple. Now, the alternative here is to not have to run the scene and delay. You could literally delete this. You could delete this, and you could add in play video. So in this scenario, you're playing a local file, and that doesn't actually need the delay. So choosing the local file, and then that's an 11 seconds, and then we're going to actually move on to into the stream. Okay, so that's how you build that one out. And the final function was again the presentation prep mode, right? So this has nothing to do with your live stream at all. It's only dealing with the stuff that you need to do before you hop onto Zoom to do a presentation. Again, you can do so many different things, and I see a bunch of tips that have been added from the community, so we'll go over those in a second. But basically, you're building out the website, right? So we're just grabbing website from the system section here. And then you're going to just drag the website. You're going to choose the URL, title it, just like I did up here. And then you're going to also choose application to open. So you're going to open this application, and you can just choose, say Zoom. Oops. Open. And there you go. So then the function is going to open all of those things, one click, everything happens, and you're good to go. That is how you set up those multi-action, that multi-action functionality. Now, again, you know, we have, so the icons, if you're interested in those, we have brand new ones that are like, buy me a coffee, and having like the host chat. So I want you to see the host. So let's see if you're going to put on your, I can just build out a Stream Deck here. So we're going to see if you run scene, it looks kind of like this. It's pretty ugly, right? But if you actually choose something like, you could go into host, and then we're going to have the chat. Just pulling this up here. Okay, so host chat, and then that's going to show you the fact that your camera's on and you've got the chat overlay on top of that, right? So you could do things like that, and you can choose to actually show or hide the title. I love the cleanliness of hiding the title as long as I know what that means, right? So you can get these icons, brand new updates to these icons to really give you a ton of new functionality for streaming, for Zoom. There's new Zoom, like record cloud, turn camera on and off, things like that. The new ECAMM preview mode, publish buttons and functionality, things like that. So livestreamingpros.com/store, you can find all of that. I keep fixing this button and it keeps not being fixed. There you go. livestreamingpros.com/store is where you can get all of these. And if you want to find out more about this awesome stream deck, my favorite piece of gear in my entire studio, definitely check out this playlist. Keep learning, keep growing, keep adding better functionality to your professional streams and making it a whole lot easier on you.